Hi, everybody. Sorry about the error earlier with the audio for the facilitation breakout. So I'll just do a quick run through of the slides for this Thursday. We appreciate your help, but as always, reach out if you have questions. So nothing changing for the first slide. Purpose. Our focus is really going to be on the celebration, and we're trying to turn the ownership of this process back towards the group. We've had time to formulate our identity and beliefs as a group. Now is our opportunity to hand it over to some of the members to do their presentation, actually all the members. Just continue to look through that lens as you conduct your breakout this Thursday. We have an inclusion activity here. Feel free to read through it. If you have one that you'd prefer, that's up to you, and feel free to change it. Learning intention, know the why, be able to verbally communicate, and understand how we grow as a group. Agenda, expanding our why. We're going to talk a little bit about the importance of why and have a short clip in here from Simon Sinek. 30-minute planning, so the group members are going to take 30 minutes to plan a presentation, and then during the celebration portion is when they'll actually be doing their presentations. We're trying to frame it through the lens of celebrations for the hard work that they've put into this year. And then lastly, reflection and action as always. So this next slide is actually going to be in the slide deck 2 different times. So the first slide 6 here is just to give the group a general orientation towards what we're going to do. So why is we're going to share a learning journey around teacher clarity, and share that with the hope of feedback, basically. So how each breakout is going to generate probably 4 or 5 different groups, and each small group is then going to create a presentation of their learning themselves. So they're going to make a copy of this slide deck, create a presentation for that 30 minutes, and then they'll have an opportunity to share their presentation later on in the breakout session. So this is just a general orientation for the group members. They do not need to know the details of how to do that yet, but it will help frame their thinking as we move forward to slide 7, which is the video of Simon Sinek sharing why our work is so important and how if we don't have our why, everything else basically falls by the wayside. So please take an opportunity to watch this short video in your breakout. Before proceeding on. This will hopefully orient their thinking towards their purpose. So there are really 2 different opportunities we're giving the group members to formulate their presentations around. So they can focus their presentation on the breakout session specifically. So some of the resources that they might use to support their work are the slides from your breakout session, which are identified here. They can find those in Google Classroom. You've posted those in there before, and those are living documents that they can still access through Google Classroom. Another resource for them to use during the breakout session is, of course, Visible Learning for Mathematics and any other resources that you may have used during your breakout session. So if they're doing a presentation on some content from a breakout session, there are a few resources here to help them generate their presentation. If they would prefer, they may present on their goals or teacher clarity. So one of the resources that may be helpful for them is Principles to Action. We've identified a few pages in Principles to Action that might be helpful for them, and they'll have access to this reading. We're going to put it in their agenda and their packet for the day, so you don't need to worry about making copies of this. This will all be prepared for them, group members, when they come in. And then, of course, Visible Learning for Mathematics. The whole chapter on teacher clarity is incredible. We've picked out a few pages here for them, so hopefully they've brought their books so they can leverage their understanding from Visible Learning for Mathematics. So here's some resources around what they might be presenting on that could be helpful for them. So basically, as we move to the next slide, this is a process that you, the facilitators, will go through. You'll share the slide template. The slide template will be auto-posted in your Google Classroom. Rusty, Andrew, and myself will actually take care of that. So that template that group members will copy will be posted to your classroom automatically. You do not need to post that. It is up to you how you want to form groups within your breakout. So you can have groups of 3 or 4 or 5, or just think creatively on what your vision is and let your group members organize accordingly. So once they do formulate their groups, only one of those group members is going to make a slide or a copy of that slide template. So what that'll look like is if Rusty, Andrew, and I are in a group, I would identify Andrew as being the person to go into Google Classroom and find the slide template to make a copy. And once Andrew makes that copy, he's welcome to invite Rusty and I to edit that slide document, but really Andrew is the owner and he's the representative from our group that is essentially controlling that slide template. So only one member from each group will make a copy of that slide template. Once our group is created, Andrew, Rusty, and I, Andrew's made the copy, then we're going to determine if we're going to do our presentation on teacher clarity or if we would prefer to do something from our breakout. And after we do that, we are going to leverage those resources that were identified before and any others to create our presentation from that copy. Our presentation is going to formulate around the why, the how, and the what process in the slide deck, and you can see those in the slide template as well. So that's what we'll give the opportunity to give the group members 30 minutes or so to create their presentations as best as possible. Lastly, fifth here, so members post their created slide deck in the Google Classroom feed. So Andrew would then go in with our created presentation, and he would actually post our presentation or slide deck into Google Classroom. And if you're unfamiliar with what that looks like, I've got an example here. All your members will have to do is click this plus sign down here and create an announcement, and then they can add the link to their announcement. And the nice thing is, as a facilitator of this group, you can just log into Google Classroom and you can see all 5 presentations right here in the feed. It's very similar to Twitter or Facebook, but all those presentations will be here. So you don't need to worry about carrying computers around or anything. It'll be organized. So after Andrew shares that, our slide deck in the class feed, then you, the facilitator, will choose how you want to move about presenting. So maybe just ask who would like to go first and then proceed from there. Just be mindful of time. This can take a short amount of time or a long amount of time depending on your group's need, but we're really hoping to give ownership back to the group members and an opportunity for them to have a platform and share their experiences of what's worked and what needs to be improved upon. So hopefully that is more helpful. As you can see, the same slide 10 is the same as before, but this is where you're going to dive into more of the details of what that'll look like. So you will use this slide with your group members. You can delete this slide if you choose, or you can leave it up there and edit it if you'd like, but feel free. This is for your purpose. This is for members' purpose. Lastly, for them to access Google Classroom, this is up here just in case they forgot to access those resources, come through this. But really, we're hoping that they might leverage information from their implementation guide. They've lived it, they've done it. Let them pull some evidence from that too. It might be powerful for their presentation. Lastly, reflection and communication. We really just want to reiterate the structure of they are the district mathematics lead team, and they can work with the MichME lead team, which is you, the facilitators, and Andrew and myself. But we're really hoping to make this more impactful for the whole building and grade level specifically. So please revisit this. There will be no survey for the breakout sessions. We're going to complete the survey during the morning session for the final round. So email us with any questions, but should be pretty self-directed once you understand the process of what's going on. So give the group an overview, watch the video, allow time for reflection. You can feel free to structure that reflection as you see fit. Expanding our why, allow them to access these resources and bring clarity to either their breakout session presentation or their establishing goals or teacher clarity session. And lastly, revisit some of those details on how that will be conducted. So thanks for your time. Email us with any questions. Thanks, gang.